Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In the last video, we created this big space up front where we moved this crane that used to be here to the back corner. You can kind of see it over there. But in today's video, we're going to be filling that space with not one, but two of the boutique hotel modular buildings. So let's get started. So my plan for this video is I'm going to first start off by just building one of the sets as it comes by Lego. So I'm going to be building it by the instructions, and I'll kind of do some updates as I'm building it. And then after I'm done with that, we'll move on to combining the two, and then I'll just grab that second set out and use the pieces from that to hopefully combine both buildings into one big set. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, I started off by building this base plate. I took the base plate from the other set too, just so I have a double base plate and I have a nice sturdy base to work with, since I'm going to combine these in the end. But I'm just going to start working on the first one. Alright, so I just got done with the first floor of the build. It's looking pretty good. As I said in the first clip, I'm just going to build it by the instructions first and then modify it after I'm done. So this is all per the instructions. The build looks pretty good. If you didn't notice, I removed most of the sidewalk. That's just because in the rest of my city, I actually just do normal gray tile instead of the dark gray stuff that comes in all the modulars. So instead of using dark bluish gray, I use this light bluish gray. That's just my preference, so I will switch all that out on the final build. So for now, I just did the pieces that were necessary to kind of get the building structure all together. But overall, the build's looking pretty good. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to building, and then I'll update you when I'm done with the second floor. Alright, just finished the second floor of the build. There's that side angle. Next will be the roof for this art studio, but let's quickly take a look at the interior for the second floor. As you can see, there's the two rooms and then the little staircase. It's a pretty simple floor. When I modify mine, I think for the most part I'm just going to duplicate these rooms and then try to expand this hallway and maybe just make this staircase smaller, but we'll see what we do in that design. For now, I'm gonna start on the roof for this, and then I'll show you that. Alright, so I just finished this little balcony on the second floor here, so if I just take it off to show you guys, it's just a little bar area. It's pretty cool. That's about all I have for that quick update. So I'm gonna get started on the third floor now, and I'll update you when that is done. Alright, so I just finished the third floor of the main build. As you can see, here it is all the way around. Overall, it looks really cool. Let me show you the interior. Just pull it off. The interior is really nice. I think I'm going to keep most of this as is as well. Obviously, still expanding the hallway and then reworking it a little bit. But overall, really happy with how it turned out. Now I'm going to move on to the roof, and then we should be done with the build. Here's the build all complete. Like I said, I built it per the instructions of Lego. Now I'm gonna modify the build. Overall, I think it turned out really good. I honestly really like what Lego did with this building. But anyway, let's get into modifying the build. Alright, so I'm all ready to modify the set now. I have all the bags open that were for the first floor, and I have them kind of sorted in these bins off to the left. I have the build in the middle, so I'm gonna see what I can come up with, and I'll update you when I have updates. All right, so quick progress update. Finally got the layout all set up. So this is gonna be the layout for the hotel. So as you can see, I expanded the desk over here, as well as made this like key wall bigger. I also added some art on the wall and a little clock. And then the flooring is mostly the same. If you didn't notice, I moved the staircases together to make one big staircase, so I have the pieces for them over here. And then I also am gonna expand the art gallery, so I made it more square apart from the part with the staircase, because I want to keep the roofing part mostly the same. So I just expanded it inward into the hotel, and I think in this area I'm gonna do a seating area. So I'm gonna do a couch here and here. And then maybe some chairs just along the sides, but we'll see. So this could be more like a lounging area, seating area. And then I'm gonna have the check-in over here. I finished my interior details for this first floor. So as you can see, the front desk, like I showed before, is a lot bigger. The tiling is all done in the whole build now too. The staircase is gonna go right here. I just haven't put it in, so you can kind of see this detail right here, which is just a little desk. Come around the back, there's some vases at the front door. I also did this little tile pattern on the front here, since I wasn't able to include this on the other side. On the other side, I have 2 couches and then a little desk in the middle, the clock on the wall. So that's just kind of a hangout area. And then I'm also including an entrance into the art gallery from the hotel, because I thought it would be kind of cool. I'm going to put the logo, which is in the bag, with these pieces. I'm going to put this logo on the inside as well, just so it's labeled. Here's the art gallery. I just spread it out a bit more. Similar artworks. I moved the artwork from in the hotel as well into here because I thought it would fit better. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got. So I'm going to finish up this floor, and then we can move on to the next floor. Just finished the first floor. So as you can see, the interior is mostly the same from the last update I did. Looks pretty good. On the right side, I added a little trash area using the gates from part of the upper area. This can is loose. So I think that looks really good. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then on the other side is the art studio, or the art studio, which is just a little bigger on the interior, which I think looks really good. I kind of squared it up more. Other than that, building's pretty much, like I said, it was mirrored on both sides. I did as best I could over the door with the pieces I had. I only used pieces from the set. So before I work on the second floor, I decided I would just build this small roof area above the art gallery. I had to change it actually quite a bit from the original design because of how I shaped my art gallery. So, but this works. This area right here is actually going to be more support for the second floor, because I forgot that cutting into the main layout of the building would probably affect the second floor. So this is all unused space, which is why it just has mismatched tile, because nothing's going to be back here and you won't be able to see that when the roof is on. I expanded the bar a tiny bit, just added one more table, moved the layout up here. I had to readjust this piece back here so that it would be able to fit into the blueprint. I also just added more foliage and then kept one tree. I felt like 2 was too much. But other than that, that's all I did with this piece. So let's move on to the second floor. I managed to get the base all figured out for the boutique hotel second floor. If you can't tell, it is actually a slightly different structure from the original. I had to rework a lot of things because I wanted to combine everything together onto one plate. This right side is a little flimsy because it actually gets secured by another hinge, and that's by design in the normal set too. If you didn't notice as well, I moved these balconies over one, and that's simply so they just have more space instead of taking up a weird, like being right next to each other in the middle. So I spaced them out. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks. Obviously, I'm going to put the door in front of the balcony still. And now basically I'm just going to, so I'm going to fix the balcony. I'm going to take out the hallway part of the wall. so I can just do one staircase and one hallway. And then I'm just gonna duplicate this and we should be all done. So I'll update you when I have another update. But yeah, super proud of how the base turned out. There goes one of the sides. And yeah, I will update you when I have one. And just like that, the second floor is completely done. So if I take it off to show you guys, it is pretty much the exact same interior, except I changed the staircase a little bit, so it's one staircase, and the opening is now one opening instead of two. But other than that, this floor is a complete duplicate. Also, the balconies are spread out one. They used to be right here and here, which is why I had to completely rework the bottom structure. But now that I have that, I'm super happy with it. The flags are also in a slightly different position. But anyway, there's that level. And now we're gonna move on to the roof, or the third floor. Just a quick update here. I finished framing the bottom. As you can see, it's pretty similar to the normal set. I just did some structural things like moving these beams to the center and then straightening this one out because obviously I'm going to do the one hallway. But other than that, not many changes. I also, instead of having one of these 12s and then another 4, I just did 12, a 2 with the 4, and then 12, 2, 12. So other than that, not many changes. It was pretty simple. I'm going to get working on this floor. There's not many changes that are going to happen on this floor in general either. The only thing is I'm taking out the wall on the hallway, and then I'm going to duplicate this room over to the other side. So I'm going to do that, and then I will update you when it's done. Just finished the second floor. Oops. It turned out really well. Not a lot of interior changes, pretty much no interior changes other than that floor gap being adjusted. But other than that, pretty much the same. I made it sturdy enough on the bottom like I had showed before, where it is one solid unit. But that's pretty much it. There's no aesthetic changes other than the fact that it's a double. So I'm gonna start working on the roof, and then once I get that all done, I'll show you the final model. I finally finished the last half of the roof. So as you can see, I didn't connect the other half just because I thought it would be kind of weak, and I don't really need to. I did have to change the base quite a bit on this one. If you notice, this plate is actually white. That's because I took it from the second floor, because I was using that curved plate as one of the second floor pieces, and I just replaced it with the gray one in this one so that it would line up. And then I had to completely change the under design for this side because the wedge plates were the wrong side, and I wanted to only use pieces from this set. You can also see there's a small gap here, which I could actually probably fix. But also, I don't know why, but I was missing one of these curved pieces, so I just put a leaf there. I think it looks okay. You won't be able to notice it, so it's not really a problem for me, but I'm hoping I can find that piece in the future, or I'll order another one. But technically, that piece is included in the set, so I'm not too worried about having to replace it in the future. But with all that being said, I'm going to put this on the final build, and we'll take a look at how it looks. Before I go place this massive build in my city, let's go over all of the details. All right, so starting off with the first floor, we have an expanded check-in desk, as well as an expanded key wall behind it, as well as some piece of art. The staircase is a lot bigger because I pushed the two sections together to make one grand staircase. There's also an entrance to the art gallery from inside the hotel because I thought it would be kind of cool. There's even a little seating area in the hotel. And then the art gallery is a lot bigger because I squared it off within the hotel and I added some extra pieces of art. On the other side, there is also a little trash area. I'm really proud of how this turned out. I think it looks really good. But with that being said, that's the entirety of the first floor. Let's move on to the second. So starting off with the second floor, we actually have this little balcony area which covers the art gallery. I had to do quite a few modifications to this part since I didn't realize that the second floor would kind of cut into the blueprint of the art gallery. I wasn't really thinking about it, so I had to do a clever design to kind of have the second floor rest on it. I also added an extra table and then moved the bar to the back corner. Nothing else really changed in that area. And then if we take a look at the main part of the second floor, you'll see that there are 4 rooms in total. We have this smaller room type and then a larger room type, and then I just copied those over onto the other side. Those are actually made by Lego in their instructions for this set. Close that door. The hallway is a lot bigger too. I only did one staircase and then removed the wall between them just because I wanted a wider hallway. Also, the balconies on the front, I moved over one just because they would have been there, and I just wanted them to not be touching and have some breathing room in between them. Also, the flags on the front of the build are in slightly different positions. I have the two centered above the door, which I actually think look pretty good. And that's it for the second floor. And there it is, placed in the city. I'm super happy with how this build turned out. I think it looks really good on this street. But with that being said, I don't have anything else for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you like this build. Make sure to go and check out some of my other videos if you haven't yet. I have a video about where I moved the crane that was originally in that spot, so go check that out. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.